Are you okay, Mother? You seem sad.
Yes, don't worry, darling. Mother is fine. Wait, where are the guards? Who sent them away?
Mother, look! What are they doing on the rooftop?
What? Emily, come here! No more! Not again!
Mommy!
No! Get away from her! Corvo!
Mommy! Get away!
Corvo! It's all coming apart. Find Emily. Protect her. You're the only one who'll know what to do. Won't you? Corvo.
Ward us all. Look at what he's done.
Yes, he's killed the Empress. What did you do with young Lady Emily, traitor?
Her own bodyguard. Ironic.
I'll see you beheaded for this, Corvo. Peg him.
I've been thinking quite a lot this week about FPS games, FPS action games, and also how they've affected me over my gaming life. I'm old enough to have played Doom, Doom 2, Wolfenstein 3D, and then going forward, games like Duke Nukem 3D. You know, games that came before and kind of laid the pathwork for future games. In actual fact, most of my favourite FPS games are not recent ones. Games like the Metro series, obviously Half-Life, that series is very important to me. Games like Bioshock, the seminal Bioshock, which is just, I hold in such high regard. But there's one series, and especially the first game in that series, that just clicked with me so well in the way that the team approached it, tried so many new things, and that is the Dishonored series. So, Dishonored, what is it all about? Well, the game came out in 2012 by a company called Arcane. They wanted to make a new type of FPS action game. And so there's actually a really good no-clip doc or documentary. I would highly recommend people watch it. I mean, better than my ramblings, for sure. And they interview some of the developers and go in and get some really good insights into how the game was created. But basically, it was a collaborative effort between Arcane Lyon and Arcane Austin. Unfortunately, Arcane Austin is no longer with us due to reasons I won't go into now. But very, very upsetting to hear that that company is now shut down. But Arcane Lyon is still with us, and so, you know, there are chances for more Dishonored games at some point. You play as Corvo Attano. You are a bodyguard to the Empress. And unfortunately, you have to watch her be assassinated and her daughter be abducted by the same people, who seem to have these like mystical teleportation powers. You're left over the body of the Empress, and people come rushing in, and you can probably guess what happens next. You get accused of the murder of the Empress, and you are whisked off away to Coleridge Prison to await your fate. And that is where the game starts proper.
If I was a birdie, I'd want to eat that. Yes, I would.
Long ago, Granny Rags danced at court, men begged to marry her.
I told you the knives go on the left. Dear? Is that you, my dear husband? My eyes aren't what they used to be. Have you seen my little birdies? The dear things must be starving without their granny. Here, birdies. Here. Oh, my. I think I have...
So, what is it about Dishonored that I absolutely love? Well, obviously, it's quite a few things, but I think the easiest to dissect is the movement. The movement in Dishonored was the first game that I can remember that I felt really understood how to put movement into an FPS situation. we're all obviously human beings. We look forward into the world and we move around, and we know what that feels like. We know what it feels like to move with our legs and climb over things and to bend down underneath a table or whatever. This game was the first game that really nailed it, in my opinion. You start moving, and within minutes of playing this game, I felt like, wow, this team had really understood how to take that FPS situation and make it feel like you were actually moving through the environment. So, for example, when you walk towards a table, you will naturally like slink underneath the table without any kind of like prompt or like a button press. It just does it for you. In the same way that when you walk towards an object and you press space, you just mantle that object without any effort. You're like a cat, just so fast and agile, and it makes movement around the environments such a breeze to do, and it makes it such an enjoyable experience. You feel like a predator. You feel like a cat, like a big cat stalking its prey, and that is exactly what you want in an FPS based around stealth.
This is the Hound Pit's pub, closed for business. Half the district marked off as dead from the plague. We're right under the Lord Regent's nose, and he don't know a thing.
Another reason why I absolutely love Dishonored is the world building and the way the team at Arcane fashioned the world and created it and made it look so realistic in so many ways. Anybody can put like a scrapyard or a city together and put buildings in place and put doors in place. But these guys have got real magic in their touch. They just know exactly where to put things to make things look lived in and decrepit, and like the whole city is teetering on the edge of collapse. Also, the environments, even though they're quite bleak, they also look very inviting. So you'll walk down the street and it'll be stone and steel, but then there'll be little shots of colour here and there, like a flickering light in a window, and it just invites you in and makes you want to get up there and have a look what's going on. And with this game, usually there is something worth going up there for and having a look. All the levels, including the first and the last, are covered in secrets and Easter eggs and little morsels to find. And you'll find like safes, and then you'll find like a note that gives you like a clue. And if you follow that clue, you'll find the safe combination, and within that there'll be another story, and so on and so forth. And it's just such an amazing world that just invites you in and makes you glad that you took the time to explore it. Now, amazingly, this game, considering its age, still looks phenomenal to this day. And I think that's really down to the art direction and the choices they made with the textures. It's almost got like a painterly look on a lot of the walls, the seats, the objects that populate the world, and even the characters themselves. They've got this distinct style which almost looks like a living painting, and so it almost defies aging itself. Even if you get close to some of the meshes on the objects, you can see this game wasn't a recent game. The actual style of the game kind of surpasses that, and it makes it not as important, and the overall delivery is still excellent.
Grief, the Lord Regent's pulling out all the stops for the Boyle family. I didn't think there'd be tall boys patrolling here tonight. Watch yourself, Corvo. They don't fool around. The good news is, once you get to the party, that mask of yours lets you blend right in. Enjoy your evening out with the folk of quality. Better you than me.
So it's hard to believe, but Half-Life 2 came out in 2004, which is a hell of a long time ago. I still remember dragging my old PC across Reading to use my friend's internet to download this new thing called Steam, and yeah, it'll never take off, I thought. Shows what I know. But yeah, it's an amazing game, one of my favourite FPS games of all time, and they had an art director called Viktor Antonov, who fortunately came across to work on Dishonored in 2012. And you can see straight away his influences in the assets, in the architecture. There's these pods that carry people around in Half-Life 2, and you can see similar things like that in the Dishonored universe. And yeah, I have to mention this guy because his influence is so important, and I think a lot of what his design choices were made the Dishonored game so good to play and so good to look at. Now, obviously, world building and dialogue and all that kind of stuff is really important, but if the gameplay itself wasn't good, then this would all be for naught. And I'm happy to say that the gameplay in Dishonored is some of the most fun I've ever had in an FPS game. The enemies react so well to so many different situations, and the AI is absolutely spot on. So you can really play with your enemy and sneak around and set these amazing traps up, or just like, you know, set a physics puzzle off and just watch the chaos unfold, and that's part of the fun. So one of the things you can do in Dishonored is you can use these amazing abilities. Now, your bread and butter ability is called Blink, which is basically a teleport, but even that is so well designed. So when you aim it with your right mouse button, you see like a little tuft of magical air in front of you, and that's where you'll end up. Now, the developers immediately knew this would be problematic in a 3D environment, so they've got like a little downward graphic that comes from it to show you exactly where you're going to land, which is helpful for when you're on like little tiny girders in like the rafters of a roof or something. And even better than that, they've got this little additional graphic. So if you aim your blink at something where you're going to mantle, the graphic changes to like an upward arrow. So you always know that you're going to be safe when you blink from one place to another. It gives you that precision and that confidence to be able to move around complicated structures fast and able to take out your prey really efficiently. So in addition to the blink, there is actually a whole suite of powers that the Outsider gives you and lets you play with. One of them is actually possession. You can take control of small creatures like rats or fish. So for example, if you took control of I think it's a slaughterfish inside one of the waterways on one of the missions, you can actually make your way up through a pipe and emerge out of one of the toilets, and this gives you access to an area that you wouldn't normally have had access to. So in this way, these powers, they let you play with your environment and approach things in a different way, which the game is just so good at doing anyway, but this is like an additional layer of like fuckery that you can get involved with. If you actually power up these powers, they become more powerful. So for example, you can take control of humans then and like make people throw themselves off buildings, or you know, open doors that normally you wouldn't be able to open, and things like that. In addition to the powers, they've actually given you a fairly decent set of weapons as well. You've got your normal sword, which is great for assassinations and combat. You've got pistols, you've got a crossbow, you've got grenades, things like that. They're all well designed. For example, the grenades, you can throw them and just time them perfectly. For example, if you want to take down a tall boy and just get the grenade to hit it just at the right moment. You've got these like traps you place on the floor. They'll basically disembowel and dismember anything that comes across it. You can also mess around with the traps and the different devices. So for example, you've got these walls of light which look really cool, but also if you go through them, you basically be broken down into atoms. So what you can do is you can rewire the contraption and then like lure in guards, and they won't have any idea that you've done this, and they'll just run through and get evaporated. What's really cool and shows off the AI is if there are two guards and one guard runs through and sees the other guard evaporate, he will actually stop and realize there's something amiss. Now, I've not seen that in many games, probably none, that level of AI, and that the developers need like a lot of recognition for, because it's absolutely phenomenal.
Steady hand. That's it. Watch it. Cast off line. Casting off. We're away. Take us straight to Dunwall Tower. Lord Corvo has news for the Empress, and we've come a long way.
A long way to bring bad news. The sailors say there's a curse on us. Black magic.
Superstition. For all we know, there's a cure for the plague by now.
Maybe. We live in strange times. Sending the Empress's bodyguard away for a couple of months. That's unusual.
Well, this was important. We need help with the rat plague.
Who doesn't like a bit of cause and effect in the games? Well, Dishonored is the absolute king of cause and effect, where you make choices and how you play, the game is always watching what you're doing, and you can see things happening in the short term, but also way down the lane you see something you've done and it's like, oh, I did that and now this has happened, but it wasn't apparent at the time. And that's when it gets you, those little moments where you realise the game was watching all the time and your actions were being counted. There's a really excellent example of this early on in the game. You meet one of the Sokolov, one of the painters and inventors for the rich people in the city, and he's painting one of the important people in the game. And you've got the choice of stealing the wine next to his painting. Now Sokolov makes a comment about this, but you don't really think about it. You steal the wine and that's it. Later on, way down in the game, you enter that person's personal library, personal safe area, and you find that painting because time's now passed and the painting's been finished. If you didn't steal that wine, the wine is actually still on the painting, but if you did, it's gone. And it's just such an attention to detail like that I think sets this game apart from other games. Now, in a more direct way, the game is also watching how you play in terms of combat. Now, you can go through this game murdering people at will, and the game will react in a way. It makes the game world more dreary, more kind of like depressing. The characters become more almost like hostile towards you, and the end of the game will be more depressing, more kind of like representative of your like vicious killer instincts. You can actually go through the game and not kill a single soul. In fact, the game embraces that by like showing you how many people have died in your playthrough for that particular level. And even the targets themselves, the assassination targets, there are some really clever, inventive ways that you can get rid of them without actually killing them. So, for example, one of them, you've got these like horrible twins that are like, decadent, and they look down at everyone around them. And basically, you can get them, have their tongues ripped out, their heads shaved, and sent off to their own mines to work in their mines forever. So technically, you haven't killed them, but they have been eliminated. And the game accepts that and moves on, and that's, to me, that is such a really nice choice for the player to make. There is another little barometer for how evil you've been in your playthrough, and that is the rat population in the city. Now, if you go through the game and you kill very little people, the rats, they're kind of like, they're still around, but they're not on high levels, not like roving packs killing people at will. But if you go around murdering everyone and literally just causing death and destruction wherever you go, by about halfway through the game, every single level will be just covered in like packs of rats, like feral rats, flesh-eating horrible things that go around and just eat everything around them, including living people and you. So that is a really interesting way the game like mirrors back at you what you're doing.
Well done, Corporal. Well done. I doubt a dozen soldiers could have done it better. Sokolov's knowledge will enable us to strike at the Lord Regent directly, and ultimately help you get your life back. Soon, we won't have to hide in the shadows. The royal physician is brilliant, but he was a fool to protect the Lord Regent.
Normally, I'm a natural philosopher, but today, consider me a humble craftsman here to serve.
Right, I can't do a video review for Dishonored without mentioning the amazing voice cast for the game. Even one of these people was such a catch, but all of these people together in one game is incredible. So you've got Brad Dourif, who played Wormtongue in Lord of the Rings. You've got Michael Madsen, who shouldn't need any introduction. You've got Lena Headey from Game of Thrones. Her voice is such an amazing thing to hear in a game like this. She's so well cast for it. Chloe Grace Moretz, who plays Emily, another very good voice actress, really has a distinct voice and does really well with the role. And there are many, many more, but Carrie Fisher is in this game. Now, I'm not going to mention how you hear Carrie Fisher's voice. It's a very small role, but the way they implement that is such an amazing testament to the developers and how they change things. And like I was mentioning in the prior chapter, cause and effect. Carrie Fisher's voice, if you hear it, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I also wanted to mention that this game actually has 4 pieces of DLC, actually 2 of which are story DLC. Now, once the main campaign's done, Corvo's put to rest. He's finished for a while until Dishonored 2. You actually play as Dowd, who's the assassin who kills the Empress in the first few minutes of the main campaign. And I think they've done a really good job with Dowd. He's an interesting character anyway, and they didn't just rely on the story from the main campaign. They gave him his own segments of the world to move around in, and he's got his own demons to explore, as well as feeling guilty about what he did to the Empress. And without going into too much details, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah, the Knife of Dunwall and the second one involving witches, they're so well done and absolutely worth playing. So if you do play Dishonored, you absolutely must buy the whole package and play these 2 DLCs as well. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there, guys. I think I've said enough, hopefully to tantalize you to try the game if you've never played it. It's an absolute masterpiece in FPS action storytelling. The stealth, the characters, the world building, the choices you have, the way the game reacts to your choices. It is just a masterclass in how to make a game like this, and I cannot recommend it enough. If you're still here, thanks for sticking there with me to the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the content, and hope you can see how much I enjoyed making this for you. It was great to play through it, actually. The last time I played this game was 2015, so it's been a real treat, and I found loads of things I didn't see before. So yeah, just a testament to how deep this game world goes. And also, I did what I said I would do last time, is read some of the books that you find lying around the world. There is a ton of books and literature and stories that you can just find and read, and it's pretty damn good reading, actually. So yeah, I think that's it. My next video will hopefully be Dying Light the Beast, which is obviously a more modern day game. We'll see how that goes, and yeah, I will see you there, guys. Thanks very much, and take care.